What's your favorite live sporting event you've ever been to?
I don't know if it counts, but I was at a rodeo.
Oh, this counts. Whatever happened. I mean, I'm just going to puncture the pressure right now. It counts.
Okay. I was at a rodeo, and I don't know if rodeos have a halftime per se, but this was like a in between, I don't know, the barrel racing and the bulls or something like that.
All right.
And they got these sheep out. So they herded a bunch of sheep in the little, I don't know, the arena there.
All right.
And if you get to look real close, you're like, there's something on that sheep. No, it wasn't the sheep. It was the dogs that had something on the back. Anyway, there was a couple sheep that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were these dogs. They let these dogs loose out on the sheep, like sheep herding dogs.
Okay.
But if you look really, really close, there was a saddle on the dogs. And if you look even closer yet, you could see each dog had a tiny monkey.
Yes. Dude, it's been a long time since I've wanted you to say a thing as bad as I wanted you to say the word monkey right there. Come on, monkey.
Yeah. And so these dogs were running around the arena, and they were herding the sheep, and they had monkeys, and I can't remember if they had hats on them or not.
Of course they had hats.
Well, let's just put hats on them in my memory, even if they...
What kind of hats were they wearing?
Oh, little cowboy hat, little monkey cow monkey hats.
Well, why weren't they wearing a little fez?
What's a fez hat?
Well, a fez, it's that little like kind of flat-topped cone hat.
Yeah.
That you wear with like a vest if you were a clapping cymbal monkey.
Because...
You'd have the little fez, like the Shriners wear fezzes.
Yeah, because it's a rodeo. And they were like little cowboys herding cows, only they were monkeys herding sheep
think of
on dogs.
Monkeys wearing fezzes no matter what they do.
I just remember seeing that.
Because they got 10-gallon hats. Well, like 10 teaspoon hats on.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It was just incredible. And I remember thinking, I don't know that this is probably the coolest thing I'll ever see. It was amazing. It wasn't the coolest thing I've ever seen, but it was one of the cooler things I've ever seen.
Okay, your bride on your wedding day. The birth of your children.
Monkeys on dogs.
Monkeys on dogs.
Yeah. It's pretty far up there. What about you? What was the best sporting event you've ever seen?
I saw the Denver Broncos win the AFC Championship. I saw them punch their ticket to the Super Bowl.
You were there?
Yeah. I went to the game with a buddy from college, also a longtime Broncos fan. Peyton Manning out-dueled Tom Brady.
Oh, wow.
Von Miller was in his prime.
That was the Pats?
Yeah, they beat the New England Patriots in a nail-biter at Mile High Stadium, or whatever stupid corporate name they had slapped on it at that point in history. It's Mile High Stadium.
Yeah.
Dude, it was bonkers.
Really?
That is.
Did you cry?
No. Now, come on. But that is the most synergy that I think I've ever felt with a stadium or a group or an audience ever.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm a little ashamed to say that because I've been to some pretty cool church things where... it's like a bunch of dudes and it's this men's event and everybody's singing the historic Christian creeds, echoing the language handed down to us from
Mighty Fortress,
2,000 years of history, like the kind of songs that span all Christian traditions and all of time. So maybe I should say that was better. But no, I was a pretty crazy moment watching the Broncos win that in dramatic fashion. There was a lot of screaming. I participated in the screaming.
My face melted when those monkeys were just darting around.
Yeah, let's go back to the monkeys.
Yeah. I'm joking.
So, okay, blah, blah, blah. I went to a football game or whatever, but we went to a game.
Yeah,
and it was really fun. It was not my favorite sporting event I've ever been to in my entire life.
It was not.
But it was really good.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, the Trash Pandas versus the Birmingham Barons. Yeah.
The Birmingham Barons. And a little bit of trivia that most people aren't going to know a lot of names of minor league baseball teams, but a lot of people are going to know that one.
Why?
Because they had a very famous athlete who played baseball for them at the AA level back in the day. You remember?
Michael Jordan.
You did?
Yeah. He played a couple games in Huntsville as well against the Huntsville Stars.
Really?
Yeah. The Huntsville Stars played against, not who they played against. They had a bunch of people that played there. I remember Mark McGuire played there.
Really?
Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco had a brother. What was his name?
Who's Canseco?
Am I making this up?
I think he did. Yeah, there's a pretty big steroid market going on then
in Huntsville back apparently.
Then. Yeah, like some kind of, everybody get together and stick needles in each other's butts at some kind of club or something late at night.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
it's a rocket fuel or something.
I bet that's what they called it.
Yeah,
I
probably
like
so.
that a lot.
Let's see. There was a player called Todd Van Poppel that played there.
Todd Van Poppel was going to be a big deal. I had his rookie card.
I did too.
Didn't pan out for Todd Van Poppel.
Did not. I don't know why.
Mm-mm.
It was interesting. I actually end up, I don't know, I really enjoyed loving those games. We used to go to them, and I remember the players would be there after the game, and if there was a broken bat, all us kids would just be groveling like little beggars. Have your bat, and then one kid would get the bat, and then they'd take it home, and it would just sit in the corner of their room and do nothing.
Till mom sells it at a garage sale.
Exactly.
That's what happens to everything related to baseball.
It is.
Eventually, your mom is coming for it, and it's going to be while you're away, like in the Navy or at college or something. You come back, oh, that memorabilia is just gone. I don't know what the problem is that moms have with your baseball stuff, but that's the thing.
My mom's done a pretty good job keeping up with mine. I still have my baseball cards and stuff like that.
Why does your mom still have your baseball cards?
Oh, I have them now.
Okay,
she gave them back to me. Yeah.
That was good. She held them
Yeah.
to make sure you finished college.
Some of them got like some mildew on them because they were in the basement for a while, but yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very nice.
Somebody was clamoring for a souvenir. There was a foul ball hit over our direction. There's a little grassy area. You always want to say grassy knoll.
It's a knoll. It's a grassy knoll.
It is a grassy knoll, but it was a very peaceful one. No, that's not true. There was a lot of shrieking and screaming and wrestling over there. It wasn't a very peaceful grassy knoll at all.
No, the teenage girls go over there, and I don't know what the game is they're playing, but it's how loud can we scream? They just get in a circle, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do it now, and then they scream.
I can answer the question.
What?
Loud.
Yeah.
The answer is very loud.
I just don't understand what they were doing. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, there's a big fly ball down the right field line toward the grassy knoll. And there's a kid. I saw him down there. He was more attentive than all the other kids who were goofing around and wrestling and being idiots. He's got his ball glove on. It's broken in. It is clearly the glove with which he plays actual baseball. Big towering fly ball. Here it comes. Everybody else hasn't even noticed there's a foul ball coming their way. But this kid, he's been looking. And he's got his glove up, but the grassy knoll is sloped. It'd be tough to field a ball
there. It's like a berm, yeah.
Yeah. He's backing up on the berm to catch a foul ball from the Birmingham Barons. And he puts his glove up in the air, and he just shanks it. It rattles around kind of out at the end of the webbing, and it rolls out, and he immediately goes to pounce on it. But now the other little urchins have figured it out, and they're all wrestling and grappling, and somebody else comes away with the ball, dancing and celebrating. That poor kid laid there on his back with his hand and his glove over his eyes in the middle of that grassy knoll for quite some time after
Did he
that.
really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, there will be no prize, young man.
That's hard.
That's tough. That's a
very
real tough one.
Yeah.
That is a great vibe at that ball field. There's the whole atmosphere, everything about it. I'm so impressed.
They do it on purpose. There's a guy that runs the whole trash pandas outfit. His name's Garrett, and I was talking to him about it. He's like, yeah, we're optimizing this ballpark for families and for just good, clean, fun, good pastime kind of stuff. You can show up, have fun. You don't have to worry about anybody getting belligerent or weird. They got ushers everywhere. They have trash cans everywhere. Yeah, they just do a good job out there. It's great.
Yeah, I was impressed, and there were some moments where you could tell it was middle-level minor league baseball, just a couple mistakes big leaguers don't make. But, I mean, these are young kids playing ball, probably all early 20s, maybe even a couple kids out there in their late teens.
So a question that I'm embarrassed to ask that I was just talking to you off mics about. So AAA, AA, major leagues, right? Major leagues is like the top,
mm-hmm.
and then you've got just
it's not like the top.
It is the top.
It's the best baseball in the world.
Is it? Okay.
They play pretty good ball in Japan.
They do, actually.
Yeah.
So just below that, is it AA or AAA?
That's AAA.
Okay, so AAA seems like smaller to me because AAA batteries are smaller than AA batteries.
Oh, that's how you got there. Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
See, and AAA seems bigger than AA to me because it's more A's.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So AAA is right next to the bigs,
mm-hmm.
and then AA is below that.
Yeah.
And so right
Single
now,
A below that.
Interesting. So why do they need two different feeder teams?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, what the professional baseball people discovered over time was you can't just throw a single A level player into AAA level baseball and expect them to grow. They can't. The talent disparity is
developmental.
Too great. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's developmental. Is there an equivalent of that on the testing range or in things that you do where if you throw somebody into the deep water too quickly, they're just wrecked?
I mean, what you're saying is studied. I want to say it's called, I've heard it referred to as matrix theory. I don't know what that means. I've only heard that term in conversation. But the way it was discussed with me is if you have somebody that's trying to find, you're trying to persuade them, so intellectually, you're trying to bring them to your way of thinking, and you know they think like, let's say we have a scale 0 to 10.
Okay.
You know they think like a 3.
Okay.
And you feel like they should think like a 5. Like 5 is where you want them.
Okay.
You think like a 7. Okay, so you got the number line before you?
Wait, is this individual persuasion you're talking about, or like a CIA psychological operation?
Whatever. It's whatever. Just
Okay.
humans.
Okay. All right.
Humans. It could be a group of people. It could be you see this sometimes in the misinformation stuff. And so let's say you want to pull people from that 3 to 5. Well, if they put in a keyword, for example, in search, and you serve them up a 7, well, they won't go for it. They're a 3. They can't mentally make the jump from a 3 to a 7, but they can easily make the jump from a 3 to a 4. And so you can serve them up that 4, and you can shift them just a little bit. They can't make the jump from a 3 to a 6 either, but you may be able to serve them up a 5, and they might go for it every once in a while, and you might be able to gradually influence them. This is how this was explained to me. I don't know. So there's a distance that people can cover, and that's where learning or growth or, I don't know, it's like the direction towards something can happen. I'm assuming you can make somebody worse like this as well. It follows, I think, that the same applies to learning. Like I remember my wife was talking about she did really, really well on her AP calculus tests in high school. And so when she went to college, they just dropped her right into Cal 3. She's like, what? I didn't do that. I didn't do good on my calculus AP test when I was in school. I think I got a 2, maybe. I don't remember. No, maybe I passed. I don't remember. I knew calculus fine.
Okay.
But I started lower, and I started Cal 2, and I was able to just jump up pretty quick. So I've seen this again where I know somebody, they did fine on their placement tests for Spanish. They end up in a university in Texas, and they jump in, and they're taking Spanish in Texas, like Spanish 2 or Spanish 3 in Texas, which is not the same as Spanish in Alabama.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so in both of these cases, the people dropped out. Tara said, I'm out. I don't have to take this. I'm out. And so she dropped it, and then she turned out she didn't even need that for her degree. So I think there's a lot to be said for putting people in something that they can easily handle and then pull them up. I think that's pretty smart. There's got to be a word for this. I mean, it's just development is all it is, but...
Yeah, I suppose that's it. But it's not just instructional in this case. Obviously, the Trash Pandas have coaches at the AA level and all of that. But also it's about being around the right competition. These are your peers. You're going to be better than some of them, so you're going to learn how to win. You're going to learn how to close out games. You're going to be worse than some of them, and that's going to really stick in your craw, and you're going to figure out, all right, sure, the most vicious big league cut fastball is going to come in at 98 miles an hour, and it's going to move across the plate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here, the meanest one I saw is that guy from Birmingham who was throwing at 94 with movement. How do I defeat that?
You're competitive. Like
Destin.
Yeah. You're naturally competitive. People may not know this about you, but if you and I are doing anything at the same time, there's a sneaky competitiveness to you.
Wait, anything?
Pretty much anything.
See, I don't think that.
Nothing?
Uh-uh.
That's okay. You don't have to think it.
But I am more competitive than you. I guarantee you that.
This tennis thing.
Uh-huh.
It matters to you where you place in the league there in South Dakota, doesn't it?
Well, of course I want to win. Oh, yeah. I most want to have good relationships with other people and improve and use tennis as an excuse to get better at something and meet people and invest in people's lives and relationships.
Yeah.
But at that level of tennis, everybody who's out there is doing it because they want to win. And if you're the guy who comes out and you don't play tennis and you're like, it doesn't matter. Well, okay. Well, that's fine. Because it can't matter. You won't beat any of these people. Who cares? And so that's a different gear. You just hit and have fun. If in the course of feeding you balls, in the grand scheme of things, if you'd gotten 30 points banging the ball around and you did hit several good shots, and when we added it all up, I had 20, well, that's fine. I'm hitting with my friend. It's absolutely fine.
I want to play something.
But when I play against people who have agreed, we've made a social contract, we're both going to try to win, and the game only works if we both try to win, well, then you have to try to win or you're practicing, and then it's a different activity. The game only functions. You only get to enjoy the rhythm and the pace and the speed and the improvement and the full joy of it if both parties are fully invested in, I'm going to try to win, but you also want to be fully invested in, I know what to do when I lose, which is congratulate the person who beat me and acknowledge that was super fun and just try to win next time. I think that's healthy, right?
I think it is. And that's true. You do take it like that. But I do see every so once in a while, like, hey, Matt, how's it going? Oh, just got back from the tennis ball facility or whatever you call it.
That's what it's called. You nailed it.
Tennis ball facility.
Welcome to tennis ball facility.
Hello,
what can I do for you today?
To the Rapid City tennis ball facility, whatever it's called. And so you, like, your mood is directly affected by how you did.
Oh, no.
It just is. I'm
that
sorry.
comes through.
It does.
Because it is.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true, but I always try to fake it.
What's that noise?
I don't hear any noise.
Oh, you don't?
What? Wait, what is that?
You don't hear that?
What?
What's that noise?
Oh, come on.
What is that?
Oh, I know exactly what that is. That's a sound signature that's unmissable. That is the hollow, vacuous, soulless, miserable, grating sound of pickleball.
Well, what's wrong with pickleball?
A sport so bad it has pickle in the name.
What's wrong with pickleball, Matt?
Are you hearing it?
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Do you hear that sound?
Yeah.
You just hit a wiffle ball back and forth with wood.
What's wrong with pickleball, Matt?
I mean, are you going to keep playing it probably while we talk about it?
You're not going to be able to do that, are you?
No, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. That phone's way over there.
Your face is changing.
I don't know, man. I've been working out and stretching. I'm really limber. I think I could deprive you of that phone. Okay. All right. You didn't take me up on the offer.
Okay. I cut it off.
I don't want to break your attractive artifacts in this room, but I thought some scrapping. It might just be time.
Genuine rage happens when we talk about pickleball.
It's not rage.
You're a tennis guy, and for the sake of our friendship, I'm just going to disclose what I'm going to do before I do it. I'm going to be harsh, and I'm going to say things to try to, like, get you riled up.
Oh, okay.
Some of this stuff I kind of believe, some of it I don't. But, like, you imagine yourself to be a pretty good tennis player.
What? So
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, to be clear, is this like the gentle warm-up, or are we into full swing of things now?
No, I was just
because
like,
that was pretty assertive.
Well, I mean,
like you put that ball in play with spin.
You imagine yourself to be pretty good at tennis, right?
I imagine myself to be pretty good at tennis for somebody who's only been meaningfully playing for 3 years.
Oh, okay. Meaningfully playing for 3, like in a league, competitive.
Like, yeah, like my first real scored match.
What's that injury that you've had that you've been working on with your
anal
elbow?
Fissures?
No, your elbow there.
Oh, the other one. Well, that's called tennis elbow.
Oh, what does that mean?
It's an elbow injury you get from tennis. It's right there in the name, Doug.
I'm so sorry. But
yeah, if you go out there to the tennis ball center, you'll get.
When I was at the tennis ball center with you, we were playing, and then everything was cool. We showed up. It was a cold day, and we were just hitting it back and forth. And then these people started showing up to play. Am I going to ruin your friendships with people if I say this?
With other people?
Yeah, with people like in the people there at the tennis ball center. Like
No, I'm nice to pickleball players.
Your demeanor changed when pickleball players came into that facility. It just changed, man.
Okay, no, all right. Hold up the mirror. Tell me what you see. I don't like it, but I'm listening.
We're playing tennis. Boom, 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 boom. It's a great sound.
It is a great
tennis.
sound.
It's like a weird. Like the felt on the ball and then the vibration of the racket. It's acoustically pleasing to hit that thing back and forth.
Thank you.
When the tennis ball center location that we were at became invaded by these pickleball people and they went over to the far court.
Yeah.
Suddenly I'm going to give you this one. The entire facility, it's hard for me to process speech in like really loud environments.
Yes.
It became more difficult to think about what you were talking about when that pickleball was just
yeah, I can see it in your eyes. They change when background noise is wrecking stuff for you.
Yeah.
I can see it. It's like, oh, Destin had been having a good day. Well, hey, buddy. Hey, it's Matt.
Well, that's why the shrieking girls on the lawn yesterday were so hard for me. You saw it. Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
saw it.
you were
I was like,
you were gone for a moment.
I was looking at her. I was like, you're just you're screaming into nowhere.
Why are you doing that?
Why are you? Why?
Yeah.
Why would we do this?
No, and it's true though. That is very disruptive for you, and that's not even a joke or anything.
Yeah.
Your thought processes are focused, and you really Death Star laser the things you are thinking about, not in the murderous way, but in the I funnel all 8 mini lasers into single thought laser of listening, of thinking, of solving a problem. You're very good at targeting your thought. And if people come along and shriek or distract or echo,
I don't like it. Yeah.
It's like a couple of those lasers can't quite hit that focal point
Yeah.
and create the mega beam. And instead you kind of get like the scatter spray, like after you go swimming.
Yeah.
And then you're disrupted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like
I
it.
saw it. Destin, who is this episode of the podcast brought to you by?
The patrons of
that's
No
right.
Dumb Questions,
That's
who
right.
support at patreon.com/No Dumb Questions, also known as the Winged Hussars.
Can I ask you another question, please?
You can.
Would this episode exist if they were not supporting the program?
No, I'm just gonna tell everybody what we do. So we know that we've kind of set it up so that we release 2 episodes per month, and we do that because we know that the patrons will support twice a month, and so that's how we do it. We normally do one somewhere in the middle of the month, somewhere in the end, but we don't ever like. It's not a schedule. It's just what we do because the patrons kind of hold us accountable and also give us the fuel that we need to do it because they're like, hey, we will support an episode if you make it, and that's what we're doing right now.
So you're dragging your heels pretty hard here. Like if they weren't kicking in, you'd be like, I would never want to do this. This is a relational nightmare.
No.
Obviously.
No, this is awful. This isn't genuine friendship, and I'm privileged and excited to get together probably be twice a month. That's certainly not what's happening.
Your ability to feign that over the course of a 70-minute conversation is remarkable. No, I mean, we do this when microphones aren't on, when we have windshield time all the time. This is actually the kind of stuff that we talk about. And the fun thing about recording it and sharing it is that we try to be a little bit more conscious of the fact that there's a third chair there and that there's more people involved in the conversation. But no, I want to talk about stuff like this and I want to hang out with you just because it's fun and I enjoy it and I look forward to it. But it really does keep us on task and on schedule to know that there are people who like it and are looking forward to it and are invested in it. And so we're just super grateful to everybody who supports in that way.
I was actually just talking to my professor, my advisor, Dr. Caspery, and I was talking to him about moving forward in the program. And I said, can we just have a time that we meet up and so he's holding me accountable to every 2 weeks, you know? And the patrons do the same thing for us, really. They're like, hey, we're just holding you accountable. It's going to happen. And it does. And so instead of picking up the phone and calling you and being like, dude, I have to talk about the blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at a list on my phone right now. I just write it down in a list. How long is your NDQ ideas list right now?
It's pretty long right now. It's pretty long.
Mine is too. Mm-hmm. So I look forward to going through that with you. But I appreciate the accountability. Thank you to everybody that supports at patreon.com/No Dumb Questions. I'm grateful. Matt, I know you're grateful too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go rib me about pickleball some more? Yeah, thank you for that. Stop. Just stop it. Stop it.
But the pickleball thing, the noise factor of pickleball. First of all, what is pickleball?
I have no idea. It's a thing that people at the other end of the courts do. They've got these flat paddle things. You remember that time we went and played paddle ball on the beach?
I do.
And you kept hitting me in the nether regions with it?
Just once I hit you.
Was it only once?
Well, we said, hey, let's get
the
to
bruising says it was at least 3 times.
We said, let's get to 100, and we kept hitting it back and forth, and we just got to the point where we wouldn't drop it.
No, we weren't going to miss.
And so I just decided just to hit it real hard at you.
What if this were right in your groin right now? Well,
that would be
it is.
pretty good. Whoa, that happened. Wow, I hit that harder than I meant to. That made this awkward.
That's
I may have injured my friend. But pickleballs, the paddle's like that. It's a wooden paddle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not a taut string like on a tennis racket.
No, I think it's got some kind of maybe polymer coat or there's some synthetic over the top of it, it looks like. And I think it was originally a wood core Now I get the impression that it's some kind of carbon fiber core,
Are you serious?
for the added ability to really strike that wiffle ball.
Well, the ball is, you're saying wiffle ball, but it pretty much is a wiffle ball.
Yeah, it's wiffle ball.
It's a plastic ball that's got holes in it. And a wiffle ball, like a true wiffle ball, has holes in one side of it, like a wiffle ball brand wiffle ball.
Yeah.
But this one it's like a golf ball looking thing, only instead of the dimples, it's got really big holes.
Yeah, and maybe there is I don't know, maybe there's a brand called wiffle ball that has holes around the one side of it. I don't really know for sure how that works. But I think of this as just being your standard issue, backyard, go play wiffle ball. For the wiffle balls, you got the no holes version. Those are really easy to curve.
Mm-hmm.
And those were cheap. Those were like $1 at King Soopers. You could buy them at a grocery store. And they always dented up and they were awful. Then you've got the harder ones where you got holes on half of the ball and the other half is full. And then you had the holes all around all of the ball version. And that's what a pickleball is.
Yeah.
But it's still a wiffle ball. You can't, if there was another sport that you played with a baseball, but you like kicked it with odd shaped boots and you called it pumpkin ball, it's still a baseball.
Yeah.
So it's a wiffle ball.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you hit the wiffle ball over a shorter, easier to clear net than tennis.
It's like a badminton net pulled down to the ground.
Oh, that's a good description.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or a volleyball net.
For
pulled down
babies.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
Okay.
that. Then it looks like, and I don't know for sure, because on principle, I've never played it, but it looks like there's some kind of area you're not allowed to walk into.
It's called the kitchen.
I've heard that term.
Yeah.
And so that's the area you can't walk into, is the kitchen.
The kitchen, yeah.
It looks like it's an attempt to make the old paddle ball on the beach thing. Like, let's see how many times we can click it back and forth. But then at some point, just whack it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to run real far or anything because it's a real small court. And that's it. Looks great.
Is it a single player sport or doubles?
I think you can play singles, but I always see people playing doubles.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen people playing singles where I'm at.
So getting back to our discussion earlier, you said, well, you got this developmental league and you don't want to jump too far. I've held a pickleball racket, paddle, whatever it's called.
Why'd you do that? Lose a bet or
Yeah.
dare?
No,
Like at a party?
the kids were playing one day and I'm just like, oh, what is this?
All right.
And then, I decided, Tara and I, we picked up the paddles and we're like, well, let's just beat these kids so that they know that, we still got it. So we beat them. It was great. And so I feel like the difference in skill level required between like a really good pickleball player and an okay pickleball player, like the skill level difference doesn't show up as much as in tennis. Because in tennis, I remember table tennis one time in Germany. I think I've told you this story, maybe even on the podcast. Did I ever tell you about going to the German guy's basement where he had...
Yeah, okay, that's ringing a bell. Yeah, continue though.
So basically, I went and visited a guy in Germany, and we were doing work stuff, and then we went over to his house one night, and we went down and in his basement. He goes, "This is where I play table tennis." I don't know if that wasn't German. You know what I'm trying to do. And I said, "Oh, this is awesome, Klaus. What you got going on here?" He goes, "Oh," and you look around, and he's got these posters to all these table tennis greats. I was like, "You play ping pong down here?" He goes, "Oh no, it is table tennis."
Yeah, okay.
I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Yeah, I used to play table tennis, as you call it. I used to do that. My grandfather had one in the basement. Me and Dad would knock it around." He goes, "Oh, that's great." I was like, "So you pretty good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." in his own way. He said it humbly, but he didn't. His English and my German, it just came out pretty directly. And I said, "Well, do you want to play?" And he laughed. He just laughed. I said, "Why'd you laugh?" He said, "Well, I mean, we probably couldn't play." I was like, "Well, why can't we play, Klaus?" He goes, "Well, let's put it this way. I will serve the ball 20 times, and you will not return it once." And I said, "Is that so?" And pick up the paddle. Yeah, I didn't return one of them. Okay. Not a single one.
Why didn't you return any?
Because he put crazy spin on it. Crazy spin.
How much was he holding back? Did he give you all of it?
No, he didn't give me all of it. No, he had so much left in the tank. I guess my point is the difference in skill, and that's from coming from just, high school playing and, whatever, youth group with a bunch of people, and you can beat everybody in your little friend group, and you're like, well, I must be pretty good at table tennis, right?
Well, you are pretty good at table tennis then.
But then...
Relative.
Then you go up and you play this guy who's not even playing at the top levels. He's just, playing at the local community center, but he's really serious about it. So my point is, the difference in skill in me and him were huge. And it was to the point where we couldn't even play together. To get back to your earlier point about, putting somebody up in the bigs instantly. Doesn't work.
He could have throttled it back.
Yeah, he could have. But pickleball, I feel, just from what I've seen, I don't know.
I was hoping you'd forget.
Yeah. From what I can tell, a person can go play pickleball not having a clue what's going on, and they can get a respectable game out of, their first time showing up on the court. Like, oh, well, they'll score a few points or whatever they do in pickleball. That's the impression I get. Whereas tennis, you're really putting that topspin on it, and you're trying to clear the net by just a couple of inches. And if you can keep it level versus if you're rainbowing it over there, that's a big difference. And so I guess pickleball seems to me to be a better entry-level sport, or I don't know, it's just more of a...
Outry-level sport?
What do you call it when something is more inclusive of everybody around? It's
more accessible.
Accessible.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Let me finish my rant about pickleball, and I'll get it over with, and then I'll tell you why I actually think it's a pretty cool thing.
Okay. Oh, really?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not for me. I don't want to play. I have no interest at all, and I don't want to share a court with it.
Okay.
But I get it. I respect it, and I'm really glad people are playing and having fun. I like racket sports a whole bunch. I think baseball almost counts as one of those, but I like sports where you hit a thing with another thing. The disparity in sports where you hit a moving thing with an item is huge. What a hockey player can do with a puck, an experienced hockey player, it's ludicrous. And you just can't be on the ice with them. I mean, especially because you can't even skate with them. You can't hit a quality pitcher. Even if you're a good contact hitter, you go up out of your league, you just can't put the bat on the ball. You can't do it. They're just too dang good. You go and play racquetball? Dude, I was a really solid competitive racquetball player in community leagues and better than community leagues for a long time. I won all the time just on run-around athleticism. I went and played your buddy from church. Now, I haven't lost like that in a sport.
Dan?
He annihilated me. I did not belong in the room with him. I didn't know there was that much of a next level.
Racquetball?
I knew there was a next level and I didn't belong. I didn't know it was that much of a next level. He murdered me and was so nice the whole time.
Someone made a fool of me at racquetball one time, and he was an older guy, and his name was Jim. We used to always joke, but hey Jim, yeah, you still playing racquetball? Isn't that an old man sport? And then we went and played. He stayed in one position, and he made me run all around him, and he didn't have to move his feet. He was like, like his brain was working so much faster than mine. It's like, if I hit it here, he's going to go there, and then he's going to hit it there, and I'm going to go there. He just made me look like a fool.
That's what happened to me.
It was incredible.
That's what Dan did to me. And he was so nice.
It's amazing.
No gloat, no nothing. Just, yeah, I genuinely thought I'd give him a run for his money.
Really?
I did not. I didn't give him a run for anything.
You and I played once, right? You destroyed me, if I recall.
I
think you and I played.
Yeah, we did.
That was a long time
ago. You know what?
We did.
You tattooed me with a ball in that too. On purpose.
Did I?
Yes, you did. I have that on video. No, we filmed that.
Did we?
Yes.
With a GoPro.
Dude, I just want to compliment you on huge personal growth. Because we played paddleball. It ended with you drilling me with a ball.
Yeah.
We played racquetball.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't quit, but it more or less ended when you inexplicably just drilled me with the ball on a dead play. Like, I don't know why you hit me with that ball.
Did I do that?
Heck yeah. I've got it on video. I'll show you. Yes, I've seen it. You just walk up and you just drilled me. And you're like,
man, that's a jerk move,
why
man.
Why did you do that? Just don't do that at all.
That's a jerk move.
Then we went and played tennis.
Yeah.
You didn't hit me with any tennis balls in any way.
It certainly wasn't because of lack of skill or ability to do so.
Oh, that's fun. The point is, there's something about the sports where you use a racket or an extension of some sort, where the disparity seems to get really huge between you've just seen it a lot and you haven't seen it much. And I think this is why. The racket, I'm going to butcher simple mechanical language. You can fix it for me if you want. It's another pivot point. It's another lever. It accentuates the power of the body. It extends your ability to hit things hard or move things hard. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know how to use it, it actually handicaps what you could probably do just using your bare hand. If you do know how to use it, it extends your natural ability to hit or move that ball so much more. So then the disparity is even bigger between just don't know what to do with the racket yet and have a ton of experience with the racket because there's a tool involved.
Have you ever played lacrosse?
No, I mean, I've tossed it around with a couple of friends who enjoy lacrosse, but I didn't understand it or know what I was doing.
A buddy of mine named AJ was super big into it. Like he had a whole company built around this sport. Yeah, it was a big deal. It's pretty big up north. He was showing me how to do it, and he gave me, I don't even know what it's called.
Is it a lacrosse ball?
Yeah, the ball. But what do you call the stick with the basket in it?
Is it
No,
is it a racket?
I feel stupid. No, it's not a
A
racket.
lacrosse shuttle,
Ah,
lacrosse poker.
I don't know.
Stick.
It's a dipper. It's a dipper.
I like that a lot.
I don't know. I just made it. Golly, God, I feel so
I don't
dumb
know.
right now.
Dude, I got no idea.
You know how in baseball, sometimes when you're trying to develop little league players, you've got one of those bouncy nets, and you throw the ball into the net, and
Oh, yeah.
they have one of those,
Mhm.
and you throw the lacrosse ball into the net, and you catch it with the basket. And what's unbelievable is how much leverage you can get with that stick in that basket. You can hurl the thing like an incredible speed because, you think about the tennis racket and how, what are you serving when you serve? Miles per hour?
I don't know. It's harder than I can pitch.
Really? I think you can throw faster than I can. Pretty significantly faster than I can.
I don't know about that. I used to be able to throw hard.
Yeah?
It hurts unless I'm real loose at this point. And even then, it kind of hurts.
Well, anyway, this lacrosse business, unbelievable. It's incredible. And it took me a good 10 or 15 minutes of messing around with this thing. You do this thing when you're running with a lacrosse pole, stick,
Whacker.
dipper. And if you think about the ball sitting in this little cup-shaped basket up there, if you're running, it'll bounce out, right?
I don't know. How deep is it? It doesn't just sit in
It's
there.
like a pocket. It's about as deep as a baseball glove.
Okay. But you can't close it, so it's just rocking around.
It's just rocking around in there. So you have to do this really weird rocking motion with your hand.
Okay, I've seen that.
Where you're continuously keeping the ball in the pouch.
Okay.
And so you're having to rock your arms back and forth the whole time. So it's almost like dribbling. You're having to use centrifugal acceleration to keep the ball in the base of the pouch.
But you don't have to do it like because of the rules of lacrosse. Like you weren't wiggling your hands.
Like physics.
That's traveling.
You have to because of physics.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, I don't know the rules of lacrosse, but it was interesting because this thing that you're discussing, this extension of your arm, I found it to be at play with lacrosse in the most profound way I've ever experienced. So tennis is difficult for me because I don't know where, on a baseball bat, where the sweet spot is. You take the bat, you go up to the plate, you tap it on the other end of home plate, and you kind of have an idea of relative to your eyes and your arms, where the sweet spot is. If I hit it with this spot on the bat, I'm going to send it yard.
No, it's just experience.
Yeah, it's experience.
You didn't know that when you were a kid.
Right.
It's not like some people know that when they pick up a tennis racket. You just hit it a lot. You get a ton of feedback. You're like, when I do this, it is good. When I do that, it is not as good. I should do the thing that is good more.
What's easier to find the sweet spot on the racket or whatever paddle? Would you say table tennis or badminton?
I guess I'd say badminton because
what?
The birdie moves so predictably. But I don't know. I haven't played that for a long time. I always felt like it was pretty easy to
really
square that up.
For me,
I'm sorry if that's the wrong answer. But
for me, the closer the thing is to my hand, the more I can understand it. Like I'm like, oh, it's right here. It's like right here in my hand. It's like a baseball glove. It's right there. It's like your brain has an algorithm built in for parallax relative to where your head is. So all the sensory inputs to your body is coming to your head. And
not all of them.
A lot.
I mean, they end up there eventually, but I mean, you're getting...
Yeah. Touch in your hands and stuff like that. But optically, like to optically track an object in flight, you have to use your eyes and your optical processing. There's this thing built in where, okay, I know where it's coming, but you just made me realize I've never thought about this. I'm not calculating where it is relative to my eyes. I don't care. I'm calculating where it is relative to my hands, which means there's this whole other thing happening in parallel that's calculating where my hands are. And then when you have one of these rackets for a racket sport, you have this other thing that's the extension of the tool from your body. And the thing I kept getting wrong on tennis, and I could not solve this equation, and I think I even told you I was having a hard time with it. When you hit a tennis ball with a tennis racket, the plane of the racket has to be tilted relative to the ball.
Yes. Well, you can hit it in what's called a flat shot, which would be your racket is perfectly vertical.
Yeah.
Perpendicular to the ground.
Yeah.
So you're coming through on a clean, flat pancake.
So I couldn't get that right. I really struggled with that. And you said, well, look at the handle. And I looked at the handle and I was like, oh, the handle is not round. It's an octagon. And then I realized the reason the handle of a tennis racket is an octagon is so that you can index on the racket.
Yes.
And so is there a short side and a long side?
Yes, to an extent. I mean, it's symmetrical all the way around. So either, it doesn't matter which face of the racket you're hitting with, it should be the same difference. But the grip has a short side and a long side. Yes.
I found the the lacrosse dipper wedge or whatever it is. I found it to be easier to orient than a tennis racket, but I found the distance between your hand and the ball that you had to catch. It was harder in that way, but it was easier to orient because it was not symmetric in terms of weight. A tennis racket, you can just spin it and it just spins in your hand like a top. But one of those things, you spin it and you're like, oh, that's the heavy side. That's the light side.
Part of what you were having trouble with tennis is that it just isn't an exercise like anything else where you use a tool to hit a thing. Because the setup of the ball, the interaction of the fuzz and underlying rubber and squish of that ball with whatever surface you're playing on has everything to do with everything. It's not so much the ball I hit in the air to you that is the pitch you have to hit. It's what the ball is after it bounces that is the pitch you have to hit. And so I can hit a ball that is 90% of my full strength and velocity. But if I hit it with massive amounts of spin, it's going to bite into that ground. It's going to be egg-shaped. It's after the bounce that the pitch really happens, though, metaphorically, the pitch. So a very spinny ball is going to be pretty easy to pick up right off of the spin if you've seen it a jillion times and you recognize the intensity of the spin you just got shown. But if you do not recognize the spin because you just haven't seen it much, then the thing to do is back way up.
Let the spin die.
Let that ball bounce. Let it go up in the air and kick forward with all that spin. Let it go past its apex and come back down and try to line it up so you pick it up between your knee and your hip, off your right hip. It's lost a lot of its velocity now. That spin is now helpful. It's going to bite into your strings in a way that lets you return with a little bit of spin. So the difference between tennis and baseball is in baseball, there's only a very small area that you're allowed to move around within. And then you just have to hit the ball in that area. You can't retreat on the ball and be like, I don't want to take it there. I want to take it 30 feet back here. I'm going to let it bounce. And now I'll just run back here to the backstop and now I'll swing my bat. Can't do that. But in tennis, you can kind of dictate a little bit about what the pitch you are going to hit looks like. I mean, unless your opponent just hits a great shot or whatever, and you don't have any choice. You just have to work with whatever they gave you. So if you went out for a month or two and just hit for half an hour every day, what would happen is you'd pretty quickly start to recognize, oh, the ball does this. When I see that, it does this. And you would naturally start to get to a point where you would angle your racket toward me at a 45, like almost a karate chop angle. And you would start with your racket low, down around your hip, and you would finish up over your opposite shoulder like
I'm
you're
karate
reading a
chopping
watch.
up.
Yep.
Okay.
And what that's
like I'm swinging a baseball bat for the fence, like I'm trying to hit a home run. So I'm swinging the whole racket up, and the front edge, the leading edge of the racket is up just a little bit. Like you're putting your hand out of the car, and you're letting the wind hit your hand so that it would make your hand fly up.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
The angle of attack would be up.
And of course, when that happens, that ball is going to rotate forward off of the contact.
Top spin.
That top spin allows you to swing hard and get that ball because of the Magnus effect, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
To bite as it goes over the net and it kicks down into the court. If you swing at the exact same velocity flat, you're just hitting a flat ball home run. There's no spin to get it to come back down into the court.
Oh.
And the exact same velocity is going to hit that ball all the way to the back fence.
I see. It's all about the Magnus effect, which is when the ball is spinning, you get an asymmetry and lift, and it'll pull it down over the net and into the ground. I'm not playing just bouncy parabolas, which is what thought I was playing. I'm playing bouncy, spinny parabolas.
Yeah.
So getting back to the table tennis event in the German basement, where Klaus said, I will serve it 20 times and you will never serve it.
Yes.
Could you have served it 20 times in such a way that I could not return one?
No, you're too good an athlete. And I
would have got lucky on a couple.
No, not even lucky. I'm not going to hit 20 perfect bombs in a row.
So where are you
But
at?
if we do that 2, 3, 4, 5 times,
Yeah.
you're so good at pattern recognition, you'll start to see what my hips and my shoulder do without even knowing you're doing it. You'll start to anticipate it. My rate's going to keep going down very quickly because you're just smart and you're a good athlete.
Well, thanks for the compliments that I don't feel are warranted. However, tennis is not a game you played when you were young.
No, not at all.
You started with baseball. Do you think you're playing tennis now because of your age?
Yeah, absolutely. I get toward, the last few years and I saw that a lot of cool people were out playing tennis. They were really friendly and welcoming, and I don't really know how to play, but I could run around and kind of hit a ball. I decided, well, I'll try to start learning this. And what was so fun about it, and still is that I'm getting better at tennis right now. I'm better than I was last week. I'm better than I was the week before. But all of these other sports that I put all this time into, and teammates and camaraderie and stories and failures and near misses and the occasional success, I'm getting worse at every single sport that I've put all that time into every week that goes by, except for one. That just feels great.
Does things for your brain.
It does. I'll take it at this point. So yes, it is a recent addition. No, I am not spectacular, but I'm getting a lot better and it's really fun for me.
So pickleball, where are you at?
Dang it, I was hoping you forget.
It's a loud sport, and I've heard people talk about, man, they put in pickleball courts next door, and it's so loud and
So loud.
I wish it wasn't as loud, but people seem to like it. And
They do. And
yeah.
what they're getting out of it, and this is a minute ago when I was like, I want to give you my apologetic for pickleball. My not apologetic is it's loud, and I don't think it's the best designed or constructed sport. As I look at it, the rallies are not inspiring. I think table tennis is a better sport. I think tennis is an infinitely better sport. I think racquetball is a better sport. But they can't play that. Most of the people who are playing pickleball are there because they want to hang out with friends, and maybe this circle of friends, 4 out of the 6 of them could get on a tennis court once or twice a week without injury or long recovery time, but 2 couldn't even do it. But they used to like sports and they're up for getting out there. They just can't do tennis because tennis it hurts. It's taxing. But pickleball will work, and you can get better. You can get better fast. And it kind of rewards just latent hand-eye coordination that you haven't used in a long time. And it sort of reawakens that for people. And so I like to give it crap and give it a hard time. I do hate the sound. I do hate paving over and painting over existing tennis courts to put ridiculous lines over the top for pickleball. It frustrates me to see tennis courts go away.
Yeah.
In favor of pickleball, as you would expect it to frustrate
That's
me.
actually a thing, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
tennis is having to compete in an economic way.
For
Like-
our courts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so easy. Just pave. There's already a flat spot over there. Everybody loves pickleball. You can have 2 courts.
That'd be amazing in
Instead
the same
of-
space.
Instead of 1 court, you can
Yep.
have 2.
That's the downside. The noise, all those other things. I don't like it. Upside is, hey, what am I getting out of tennis? All those things that I just said I'm getting out of tennis, being completely honest and completely vulnerable. I'm a little uncomfortable with it because sport is identity. Competition is identity. This is something that has been formative for me, being around teams, coaching, playing, all of this stuff. Shouldn't care as much as I do, but I do. I am what I am. So the truth of the super honest, vulnerable matter is I am playing tennis because I want to get better at a sport. And it feels great to get better, even if I get my butt handed to me a lot. Why would I want to withhold that from somebody else just because I don't like the sound of the ball on their racket? So I don't. I can't begrudge anybody. It's fun to gripe about it, and that's just part of the camaraderie of being in the tennis community. Like it's just sort of a thing we can all roll our eyes at and imagine that somehow our thing is more noble. But the super honest truth of it is, why would I not want to give away the good things that I've received from playing a sport like that? And so I can root for the pickleballers to have fun.
I'm going to end this episode then with a little bit of sounds of the pickleball court. How's that? I just want to make you listen to this. Here we go.
Oh, the heavy breathing and everything.
Great get, dude. Great get, Sean.
That's Sean.
That little drop shot you had.
Set us up,
He's
man.
a baller. That was a huge point. After I said all these nice things, why are you doing this to me?
I just some guy here,
Is it
somebody here
points
on
or so?
YouTube.
Is it
Tyson here on YouTube has a POV pickleball ASMR unedited.
Okay.